legitimacy and against this building. Yeah. So if you don't have it declared like what the main thing for the war goal is, and people who are not on the same frequency as you, there might be a competition as to what the main goal ought to be. So you get people that will be pulling in the opposite direction because they don't like where things are going, and they just kind of assume that we're going to be doing this big thing when maybe they want to do something else. But yeah. So when you have a short list, it becomes like a real thing. You know, for the 2 degrees of separation, it bridges that gap and it creates something real when otherwise it was not really real. Yes, on Discord, on the Discord, there is the section specifically. There is a list of real people who are all on the same team. The desire stops being a solitary thing that only DJs wants. It becomes a thing that many people want. What that means in particular touches upon this is like for information display. This one right here, making it easier for people to check in, easier to ask people for help. This is something that makes it more real than it was. More of like a concrete thing and has more legitimacy, and people are less able to mess with it. So and if people do mess with it, then it's not just fighting against me, the solitary person, and people in the commander, but not the same. It stops being a 1v1, it becomes like a 1v whatever, 4 or 5. Yeah, the primary so short lists are good for getting your team to help you more, but it's also good to get your team to hurt you less. So the primary example, because this is like the mainstay and everybody's on the same page, the people who want to do like initiatives that are counter to the group effort, well, the interaction goes entirely different. So the primary example is the entirety of the import rail system and the storage of the trains that occur at the facility in War 105. Did not want to, maybe didn't want to do any of the facility stuff. Declared his intent, sometimes just checked out, removed his roles from the server, didn't want to be part of anything, but then he come back. He got interested in this. Hey, got involved in the import and the export parking rail system. If I was to estimate it, how many switches were used to set things onto the rails that you wanted to go on, like the whole system involved, I think it's fair to say 25 switches. Whereas in reality, what could have been done alternatively is just use 4 instead. I'm not pulling that out of everywhere. Anywhere I looked at it, looked at the problem that we have faced. So as opposed to having 20 switches that you have to kind of parse out every single time to interact with the import of a train and the export of a train, we could have done it with just 4. Because ultimately we had the 2 sightings, so there'd be a switch there. And the idea is you have the switch far away from each other, so it's not unambiguous. Or it is not ambiguous. Hold up. Yeah, it's not ambiguous. When you have the things spaced out, here to see for parking, we go west. There's 1 choice or 2. And then we didn't really go northeast all too much out of Camp City. But the choice would have been there, whether we were doing going to the sidings or northeast bound. So provided we wanted to go park the train after being done, this is assuming that we had the large gauge track run through the middle of the facility like we have to have. In reality, it looked more like this, but it could have been done similarly. If we wanted to go park the train, we'd follow this kind of route, flip the switch for northeastbound, and then there'd be a sign like right here perhaps on a loop that says it's okay to start reversing now. Then you run to here, just like these 2 switches, and then you just park the train. That'd be it. And then to take out the train, it'd be it'd just be a matter of driving up this thing and taking the loop, and then going southbound like we always wanted to do. So we could have done it with 4 switches total. What I could come up with was a system. It was a system where we had the main rail, and then this is where the facility was. This way is going southbound, and we had the 2 sidings of the rails, 1 and 2. But then there's an initiative to swoop this around, like so. Interior loop, and exterior loop, interior and exterior. So you could switch the orientation of the train to go southbound, which is we went southbound more than we ever went northbound. So to hook up the ovular sidings, what would then have to occur is there's like a connection from the exterior loop. So there it is, different colors. The exterior loop to the main line, and the interior loop to the exterior loop, and then from the main line to the exterior loop, and then another to the interior loop, if I recall correctly. And then there was another thing that involved going from the main line up here to the switch to get back on the main line, like so. Like there's like a path that went in and around, kind of like this. Kind of like this. And then later on, he added more. After complaints by me, he decided to add another thing where it goes up and down, so interior to exterior, I believe. Or alternatively, it was interior to mainline. And I really want to say exterior to mainline as well. As a way to like fix things. Yeah, so ultimately, if that's a fair representation of what was going on, I'm least sure about the blue here. He had something up here. I mean, at that point, there's so much that it's not really yeah, so that'd be like a little dot for every switch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 for the main line, and then there'd be a switch here. 5, likely switch here. 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 10, 11, 12. Exterior circle the main line. 13. This is 14 right here. 15. And I think each blue line has had its own switch. 16 and 17. 18, 19. And there's one up here, the 20. Yeah, I want to say there was more, but in fairness, I can't necessarily recall the exact figures. I'm fairly certain that in reality this was it was either a branch off of main line like so to the interior and exterior, but it might have been something like this, where it was like so and then like so. No, it'd be like this. Yeah, it looked like a little like flower sort of like thing where you could either go westbound on the outer, or northbound on the outer, westbound on the inner, or northbound on the inner. So the adjusted count, that one's good. This red circle's good. That red circle's good. This one will be a switch. This would be a switch right here. This is the to go around the import station and then get back onto the main line. This one right here, the green crossing with the yellow. And then this would be a switch, and that would be maybe this one would not be a switch. Perhaps he was able to, yeah, I don't know, I think it was probably a switch. And this one switch right here. This one would be deleted right here. And It's like the green and the yellow. They overlap. They're on the same. They're the same rail, but the switches would be involved still. Um, so I think this blue one is available to go southbound on the main line from X outer to inner. It would bypass the loop, inner and outer loop, it would just bring you right to the main line. I'm pretty sure that's something that he had something up here that was. We were not in good working terms by that point. So I think the switches. And then this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that there are 23 switches involved in the, you park the trains there, and there, and you can switch the orientation going northbound or southbound using like these interior and exterior loops. So on one hand, there's 23 switches. On the other hand, what could have been done is 4 switches. Where this yellow line could just be the main line. That is that diagram wouldn't change anything. I didn't have anybody on my team. I didn't have a short list made where people put their name on the list. Yeah, so having a short list makes it an unreal thing more real. And when it came down to it, Mikkel had made this rail network, and he, I wanted it to be changed, but it was really difficult to get it changed. This really made my life a lot more difficult. Like, we were able to get the 4 type of scan in bank, but this there's a lot of time that was invested into a thing that ought not to have been. One of the things that was a time sink was that when trains can be the most frustrating thing in the game, you have to have the infrastructure set up for them so that it doesn't happen as often. But one of the problems that I had, if we were to separate the diagrams, is that to go this way, southwest bound, which is like 90% of the 80% of all train journeys was trying to go southwest, as opposed to dealing with 23 switches. To go southwest, as opposed to dealing with 23 switches, I would just go northeastbound, and loop all the way around the Great Marsh territory, which would eventually lead westbound. Which isn't so bad in and of itself. It probably added 6 minutes more every journey that we had to do southwest. How many journeys did we do? I had people drive the trains for me sometimes, but personally I did that work. I did 6 for the type 1s and 6 for the type 2s, and some heavy oil trains. If I had to really estimate how many train journeys I'd done, somewhere between 15 and 20. So that adds up 6 minutes times 20, 2 hours on its face. But the amount of switches that would have to be flicked, just the difficulty of the train journey would be a lot more so. And it's not like a linear thing where time plus pain, 6 minutes, and a little bit of pain. So on its face, like 6 minutes every single time. As opposed to parsing out what is going on specifically with this and this. What I would do is, because the trains would be parked here, I would flick. These ones are almost never used. They're always on like the default setting because nobody ever used it. I would have to hit this switch in particular to get onto the main line, and these ones were default as well. And this one right here, 1, 2, and this one was the third one. Those 3 switches to get out, and then just consign all this to irrelevancy. All the ones that I didn't X out. Yeah, if I was on the interior loop, then it'd be those 3, and if it was the exterior loop, then it would be only 2. It'd only be this one and this one. Because it makes it's the better choice to do what I did. Because it's either just 6 minutes of holding a W for the most part on the one hand, or like 90 seconds of figuring out what is going on with the switches that are here. The goal is to get on this main line right here, and rather than fiddling with this and this, you can just bypass that and use either 2 switches or 3 switches, and then consign the rest of the dust heap. So that's the choice that I had to make, and that was the right choice. What does it all mean? Because I didn't have anybody on my team, relative to like legitimacy, it made it hard to get what I wanted relative to switching this thing. I remember a specific time where there are cranes involved with like importing and exporting, and I remember on one occasion just being by myself and fixing the cranes that Michael decided to adjust. Maybe three lines of cranes that I had made, like single-handedly for like 90% of it, and we spent all this time moving cranes, and then they're moved again. So it's now it's not a problem. Yeah, the spacing has to be such that the cranes are able to interact with the train to make it an easy import. And yeah, we'd spend so much time making the train spacing be perfect, but Michael would then move it, negating practically all that effort, adjust it in a way that made sense to him. But what made sense to him was this, so you can imagine that it wasn't really up to the quality that we needed. Yeah, so maybe like a 2-hour investment of time adjusting trains back so that you'd be able to drive northbound and then import using these trains, and then you had the 2 loadouts for the trains on these trains, and you park it with the locomotive facing northbound, so you could just get out of there and proceed northeast and swing around to the southwest. So I'd set this thing up, and then Michael would adjust it. He'd put like the head of the train, park it that way, so then you would be forced to interact with the rail system. And this isn't his fault, but the train would buck out, and you wouldn't be able to couple it on the side. It would be on like a corner because of the spacing of the spacing and the turning degree of the track. For some reason, if you were to park it here to have it in line with the cranes in some way, then you wouldn't be able to couple it, and it'd be a real headache. Yes, I didn't want to do any facility stuff without him about that, and then the duality is that I fixated upon understanding this thing. So I had to adjust things, and yeah, there's one time I just got offline because the import station was a complete mess. How do you do these things where you wouldn't clean up after yourself, and you really think about anybody else trying to use the setup. There's one instance where we were adding like a third train line, and I decided to just put it on the rails itself because I didn't want to deal with the complexity anymore, and we spent all this time moving making the cranes and moving them heating up with that whatsoever. So then, 12, 24, 36 cranes that we ended up making, this thing didn't heat up with any of them. And as soon as we move them into place, like I'm trying to lead new people, so the message has to be uniform, unified message. As soon as I finish, I come back and it was just non-existent anymore. Yeah, so the legitimacy element, what is this all about? What it's about is that if you had a short list with put names on it, it's like a team. And Megalo would be able to recognize very quickly that he's not deserting me, which one where he would we'd fight each other over this thing because he thought it was fine and I did not. It's just the type of personality that he has. So it was like a 1v1. Instead of him seeing like the list of people that are trying to like chip into this project and work together as a team, and he's not on the list, and he'd be like the solo man out, and then it gives legitimacy to the whole project, where the primacy of the clan is this as opposed to something else. And then if it's one person that's affecting that, it's the legitimacy to cast a spell to remove the person so that he doesn't hamper our initiative anymore, which is definitely warranted. But I didn't really anticipate this. Yeah, it even get worse where I got frustrated and I quit, and I sent him a message. He had removed his tag, so he made it seem like it's like roles people see in Discord. So he's got some stuff going on in his personal life, which is it is what it is. But I messaged him saying that if you do decide to come back, I don't want to fiddle with the cranes and don't fiddle with the rail network. It's my responsibility now. And it was just a personal message to him. I could have made it a message in the chat for everybody to see, but because it was a personal message, only him and I understood the feud that was really going on, and I didn't really care all so much about that. We didn't really like each other a whole lot. On the one hand, I wanted to do facility stuff, but on the other hand, wanting to have like tank stuff for the facility, not interested in keeping it when Jim got banned. I received a help from that. I tried to do it's not doing like fight and destroy things for England 5 people, so I made a system where the tunnels would be set at a specific thing. I didn't even calculate that. I probably spent like an hour and some change on that, like the science say don't use these rails. We're trying to let them decay. These tunnels that are along these boxes here to retain the main rail, the main line, and the two sidings, similar to this opposite sign that I've been laid out. I never made the loop-de-loop because I wanted to have things decay, so Sanity would do a sword and then we'd be able to do it then, but I had to make the loop-de-loop to switch the orientation of the train. That was a fault on my part. Yeah, no, I messaged him saying don't mess with the mobile cranes, don't mess with the rail system, because just the amount of time investment that myself primarily, of course I put a fair chunk of effort into this goal, but everybody that has to interact with the system, just getting lower and lower effort output from people just because for every time they bring a train with the stuff, which is the only transportation mechanism we're using was trains. Every time they bring trains with the stuff, they got to interact with this thing, and I had gotten used to it by just going northeast, 3 switches or 2 switches, and then get out of there. But this is a verbal thing, it's the only something that I became acclimated to. So the people who run this society, they have to contend with these things. So I made the maintenance tunnel thing to let the rails decay. If you don't travel through them, then they decay on their own if they're not covered by maintenance tunnel. What Megalo decided to do was upkeep the rails himself, not let them decay. So he would take the train not to go out and get anything, but just to run over the rails, so that the caboose would reset the upkeep on him. So it just made a lot plus time with this. This setup where you have this person that is intransigent about altering things to any degree. The solution was to add more switches, more rails, those 2 blue ones. and just going behind my back and upkeeping the rails when the intent for them is to be destroyed. I go in circles and circles, but it was not too pleasant to interact with this person. And the reason I didn't pick him was this thing with the legitimacy. Because if I were to kick him, then the people who had kind of like relations with him, it would be kind of odd, a little too odd. But in my travels, this person is one that you want to get rid of as soon as possible. It's kind of like half in the bag thing, quitting and putting back. I don't want to do anything. I think at the start was like, I don't want to do a single thing. You won't see me at all. But then he's back, and he decides to do this thing. Yeah. One thing I will say is, pros and cons to doing a less of a heavy hand. That's one thing that I will say about when I was in the army the first time, leading it the first time, when we were primarily like wardens, versus when I came back for Army 2. The strictness definitely was more lax. Primarily because that's what I wanted. I didn't want to have to bully people in a way. The first time around, it was necessary with what we were trying to do to have people be on the same page. If you're not, then you're gonna not really a PNG. You're gonna PNG. So the second time around, it was something about it. Second time we were just doing artillery and much less stress. Thereby, much less complex things, much less lingo required, less uniformity required. These were just doing things that's a lot less complicated. It's top heavy on the technical aspect, where the commander can just kind of like lead the whole thing, and then they just kind of just be able to point a piece and shoot it. That's with less of a heavy hand. Kind of kicked me out of the mood state of removing people from the clan. One thing I will say is, there's one thing that I really noticed when I took the 66-day break after War 100 and came back after the fact. I noticed that the relationships between people like Jimmy and Goon and Megala and Denton and these people, it had changed. Because I was no longer the glue, so to speak, the dude running it. Like, supposed to... Oh, one thing at a time. Yeah, the interpersonal relationship aspect was different when I came back, and it was noticeable. And one thing I noticed is that the relationship between, as opposed to it being PJs as the commander, and then every single person that is having army tag is directly linked to me in particular, as like the main person to ape meaning mirror. So it's like Jimmy, Boone, Anton, Megala, and let's see, quotes and whatever. Instead of it being like that, where if anybody acts out, I can just nix them. Really like. This was kind of the relationship that was in War 100, Army version 1. This thing in 105 is a bit different, where I'm more on a similar level to these people. I still have my ultimate control, of course. I can kick these guys out, but if I was to, I feel like if I was to kick a Jimmy or Goon, yeah, it's not like a top-down thing. It's a decentralized thing where I definitely have the power to remove, but these three are like the glue, so to speak. Maybe I feel like if I was to kick Jimmy, then Megla would leave, or maybe Goon would leave as well. Maybe just these two. I didn't want to lose Jimmy, because Jimmy was actually very useful. Who knows? Maybe I would have kicked Megla, and Jimmy would have stayed. I don't know. Who knows how it would have turned out? Yeah, it's different. Much less of a heavy hand than War 100. And yeah, there are consequences to that. It's a very odd thing to talk about, but it's nonetheless true. Will I suffer Megala for the sake of keeping Jimmy? Yeah, so this is the decision that I made. I wanted to keep Jimmy, so I did not kick Megala. So I had to suffer this. And suffering is kind of like dog water attitude. Suffered is half in, half in, half out. Suffered is drunkenness. Is the inability to refrain from a political discussion, making people feel uncomfortable. Which is odd remarks. Kind of like aggressive personality when he doesn't get his way. and at the same time he's able to play the game. He has 2 brain cells that work together, which is more than most. I mean, when it comes to like doing an op, he's like doing that way. He's able to do. They're probably equally capable of being in a Negla, just like a non-technical perspective, but just being part of the team. But being a part of the team is a piece of the puzzle. It's a puzzle itself. If you have an odd personality, then you have to remove these people. It's just really nasty. And I knew this, but of all people, I didn't have somebody else like Jimmy. I needed help with the technical perspective, so this is the price that a fellow pays. Stupid. But yeah, to wrap it back into the point of the whole thing, is that if you have a short list like this, and one has his name, maybe he says he doesn't want to be having his name on anything, he doesn't want any facility stuff. So if he's true to that, then he's not going to be part of the thing. Then he's directly impacting the team. He just gets the pick. Jimmy's got the Casus Belli is clear cut. Your setup is dog water, and that's fine. But what's not fine is that he won't fix it. He's like, God, how much I laughed in my head. I was like, no, I don't want to fix it. And adds 2 more switches. Or this is 1, 2, or is it 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, just 6 more switches or something along those lines. Don't worry, yeah, fix it all. Add more switches. It's funny. Weird. So the necessity of having a short list.